I'm Miss Andrea, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make our really shiny, really lovely iguana sequence craft in our summer craft kit packs. So, in order to make this with me, you will need to pull out this lovely bag here. It's your Tails and Tails bag with all your fun craft stuff in it. And inside this bag, you're going to have several things that you're going to want to pull out for today. There's going to be a little cup of glue, so you want to make sure you have that on you, along with your paintbrush, your scissors, and then you're going to have a green template that kind of looks like this, and you're going to see your iguana on it. And last but not least, you will need the little bag of green and gold sequins that you're going to go ahead and pull out. You're going to see it should have a magnet in there for you, so you can hang up this little lovely guy or girl when we're done. But you will need to pull those things out of your bag, and then we're ready to get started. Okay, so as you can see here, once everything's pulled out for your iguana, you're ready to go. You're gonna have your iguana already printed out on a green sheet of cardstock. So what I've done is I've started cutting mine out. As you can see, I've done here. It's very important that you cut out your template first, just because as you glue the sequins on later, it's going to make it a lot easier for you and you won't have this excess weight. As you can see, I experienced on my first time round. So you want to make sure you cut out your pattern first. If you notice when you get to the smaller pieces, like where the toes are, and you can see even on mine that I'm going to finish cutting out here in a minute. But you can see that I left in between the toe ridges because honestly, it'll be covered up with sequins. And you can always cut that little tiny piece off later if you want. Same up here. If you don't hit every black cut line, it's not the end of the world. It will be fixed as you glue your sequins on. But you want to go ahead by first cutting out your iguana template, just like that. And you can put these little excess pieces aside, or if you want to use them as a little glue background, that works too. All right, so you will see inside your bag, you have two color sequins. You have the gold, you have the green. As I show it down to you, the gold, the green, and then there's also a little magnetic dot that we're going to put on at the end, as well as an eyeball in there for you. Okay, and these eyeballs should be the sticky kind, so they should have the back that pulls off and sticks on. If you can't get it off, you can always just stick it on with glue. Which leads me to my next thing that you want to make sure you have is that glue and that paintbrush. All right, so basically how you want to start is whenever I start, I find it easier to start with the tail and work my way up. So I just want to take a dab of glue and kind of glue all over a little. You just want to glue a little section at a time because the glue does start to dry. And if you glue the whole thing, by the time you get up there to put those sequins on, that glue will be dry and you're just going to have to re-glue it anyway. So I start by just putting a healthy amount of glue on little sections at a time. Okay. Put that aside. Dump out some of my sequins like that, and then I just take my first sequin. I glue it so that you can see they're a little bit curved. I glue it so that the inside of the cup part is facing up. So my curved edges are facing up. I glue it just like this, and then I start with the first full piece. The nice thing is they do cut in half very easily. So if you don't want it to go outside and you want it to be like right on par with your thin tell paper there, you can just take your scissors and cut the sequin in half. Just like that. Warning, they do fly when you cut them in half, so just make sure you're in range to catch it. But you can take your little half piece there and glue it down like this. Now they are going to shift really easy, again, because this glue does take time to dry, but once that glue is dried, it holds them pretty well on there so that you pick up your iguana and they're not all falling off. If you want to just throw some glue on and just add a little sequins, that's fine. If you want to cover it completely in sequins like I've done, then again, just take a little section at a time, throw some glue on there, and see how I'm covering all the paper up with my sequins. And then what I can do too, since I'm gluing them that way, the curve can be pushed. This sequin can be pushed up under the other one so that you don't have any of the paper showing. And the nice thing is if you do have a little gap, it is green paper, so it blends in really well and you don't really notice it once you have all the sequins on. But you can see I have my first section done here. So just like I said before, glue a new little section and just keep adding on. The sequence. And like I said, it is going to appear like they come off easy because they do until the glue dries. But once that glue is dried, it holds them on pretty tightly. So you can see I'm just going right up my tail. All right. So I will let you guys continue to glue and sequin up there because again, it's just the same. You add some glue, throw on some more sequins. Okay. But I do want to show you the feet and kind of the little head part up here. So for the body part right here, this little extra piece, on mine, I decided to make that gold as well as the top of the head here. So that's up to you. You should have enough green in there to do your body. You may need to use the gold or either your markers or some other color to do the tail. But again, I'll start up here by showing you the headpiece. As you can see, these are very little thin pieces. So the best thing to do is, again, to cut your sequins in half. So just take one of your gold sequins, cut it in half, go retrieve your flyaway piece, take your paintbrush, add some more glue, put it on your little top piece here, and stick that sequin right on. So when I'm doing my top pieces here, I cut the sequin in half and then I glue it so that it's up and down. Get on there. All right. So basically to do the top part is, again, you're just cutting the sequins in half, adding a little bit of glue to each little horn, hair, whatever you want to call them there on your iguana. And sticking. When you're done, you'll have 4 sequins there for your horn. Okay, so that part will be done. And then when you want to do your feet, so again, it's kind of like we just did with the tail. The little toes at the end, you're going to have to cut your sequins in half. So I'm going to cut some in half now. I'm going to put some glue on one of my little toe pieces here. And then I'm going to take my half piece of sequin. And then I think what looks really neat is if you glue it so that it's horizontal, your piece is horizontal. So it's going across like this. And you want to glue, put your first one on here. Glue it down. Then you're going to put your second piece. And I'll hold this a little closer here in a moment so you can see it. Right above. So we'll actually end up looking like 3 little toes coming up here. And again, if you see some of that black line, it's okay. You can always cut that off when you're done. Okay. So that's how you'll do your toes and your horn up here. For this part here, same thing. For this part here, I felt like I didn't really have to cut any in half. I just glued put some glue on this little piece here. Stuck it on like that. All right. And again, if you go a little over the lines, again, it's going to look perfectly fine because when you're all done and have all those sequins on, you're going to see how my little iguana turned out here. And you can tell on yours, you won't see all this because you've gone ahead and cut out the pattern ahead of time. Now for the eyeball, what you want to do, and it may help you to do this first, if you want to go ahead and glue the eyeball on, you can, or like I said, it should have a sticky back. I'm just gonna put this on just a moment. You go ahead and glue the eyeball on, and then go ahead and sequin, and you can sequin right around the eyeball. Or if you're already sequining and you want to leave your eyeball off, just leave some space there so you can glue your eyeball on. You might want to look at the size of your eyeball so you leave enough sequins. And like I said, the sequins are attached, but if you really need to pull one off, it'll come off without pulling your whole paper apart. Okay, so that's how it works. You're just going to go ahead and sequin around the body and the head. Again, for the little individual toes, you're going to need to cut those sequins in half, as well as up here when you're doing the horn piece or the head piece up here. Just cut the gold ones in half and glue them just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to my already done example, because after I have all my sequins glued on, I want to let that sit for a good amount of time. So I would give it at least a good half hour, if not longer. But you want to let that sit so that all those sequins are nice and dry and tight on there. And then we're going to add the magnet. So it turns it into our little magnet. We can hang it, let him or her hang wherever they want. So inside that bag, you should have a little magnet. It does have sticky on the back. So you can just pull off the back piece. And then where you want to place it is you want to place it towards the center of your iguana. Just kind of stick it on like that. So that way it's in the center and it'll hold up that iguana nicely for you on a fridge or any other place you want to stick it. That is magnetic, but there you go. And your iguana is done. Thank you all again for joining me today to make our lovely little iguana craft. Please don't forget to go ahead and get on to Beanstack and enter in the code word whale for showing that you completed today's craft, and it gives you an awesome extra chance to win some of our really cool prizes this summer. While you're on there, again, you want to make sure that you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Check out our social media accounts, because we're going to have all of our upcoming summer events on there for you to check out, as well as future crafts. Until next time.